Hello and welcome to the final 10 here on Back in the Net. My name's Sam Davis.
My name's Tom Jordan.
So why the final 10? Well, since the international break, AFC Bournemouth had 10 games to go to see if we could reach the promised land, the Premier League. And with 3 games down, well, we've done one of each, Tom. We've won one, we've drawn one, and we've lost one. It's been a shaky start, really.
Yeah, it's weird because I think if you look at them 3 games in isolation, you probably go, you expect to beat Bristol City at home. You probably would take a point at Sheffield. It was the West Brom one for me, where we didn't turn up, lost 2-0, didn't perform very well. I think you could argue that a point there is not too bad, but it was more the fact that we went 2 goals down so early and it was quite comfortable for them. And West Brom weren't on a good run at the time. So that was a disappointing one for me. I think the 2 either side weren't too bad. Frustrations at Sheffield, and we probably got away with it, as Sheffield fans would say. Penalty decisions went our way. Our goalkeeper was brilliant. But yeah, a little bit disappointing, but we're not in a horrific position. It's just a form of other teams that are starting to worry us somewhat.
That's right. With Nottingham Forest breathing down our neck, it's imperative that in these next 2 games, first against Middlesbrough, we get some results in the bag. We've then got Coventry on Easter Monday. So how's it going to go? Well, in this preview, we're going to talk about everything Cherries, including the week at AFCB. But first, Tom, we're at a lovely place once again, aren't we? It's the Pear at Parley.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if you haven't watched this, then this is this is an unbelievable pub. Pear at Parley, great outside area, great indoors here. The food's really good as well. You've eaten here, got little pods over there. If you look at previous videos, and if people do watch this regularly, you'll know, yeah, we know the Pear's nice. We're here all the time because we love it. And that's why we come back, mate. Yeah, great place to do a pod, have a drink, have some food, whatever you want.
So it's going to be content central on Back of the Net over the next week and a bit. Of course, you're watching the match preview now, but after that we've got the free-for-all on Good Friday, the matchday vlog on Saturday. On Easter Sunday, we're back into previews against the Sky Blues. Then there'll be a free-for-all on Easter Monday. We've got an away day tier list to catch up on, a double header for you, where we talk about the Hawthorns and Bramall Lane, followed by a match preview versus Fulham. Tom, it's thick and fast, so people, if they're not subscribed, it seems a bit weird. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, you got to subscribe. I mean, I'm looking at that thinking, how are we going to fit all them in? Love it. But yeah, enjoy doing it, but really appreciate anyone that clicks that subscribe button. If it's big and red, click it, get rid of it. You don't want it big and red underneath, it's off-putting. So yeah, click the subscribe button, click the like and all that good stuff, and we really appreciate it.
We certainly do. So, here's what's coming up. So we talk about the week at AFC Bournemouth. It's been a busy week news-wise, not least for the women's team. We get the lowdown on what happened last weekend.
We'll also look at the left-back dilemma currently at the Bournemouth, with Jordan Zamora going off with what looks like a season-ending injury. Who will we revert to at left-back? We've got a few options.
This afternoon, Scott Parker had his presser, so we get the latest on who is available for this crunch match against the Boro.
And we'll also look at Boro themselves, the view on the opposition, injuries for them, and the players to watch out for.
We'll also take a flashback. It was around Christmas, but we travelled to Newcastle. We then went to Middlesbrough the next day for a match which didn't meet our expectations. We relived that sad, sad day.
And we'll also probably pointlessly do our predictions. Not been great of late with the lack of goals from Cherries, but hopefully we can get this one right and remain positive in our predictions for the game.
Yeah, and also Tom will go through his chosen 11. And look, Gary Cahill aside, he was bang on the money. Can he do it yet again? His record is astounding. Stay tuned for that. So then, West Brom and Sheffield United will have our say very shortly in brief because it's going to be an action-packed show. But a face that you haven't seen a while, the Italian Stallion, is back. And here's his view on what's going on with the Cherries. It's Filippo.
So it was 0-0 at Bramall Lane against Sheffield United, and it was not so different from what we've seen in the West Brom game. The West Brom game, we didn't have any shots on goal, and Sheffield United game was a bit different because it was a very good display from our players, from Nathaniel Phillips and Lloyd Kelly especially. And Lloyd Kelly had maybe the best chance of the game for us in the second half. But Sheffield United definitely deserved the win because they had the true massive chances from Gibbs White, and there were 2 massive saves from Mark Travers, and also the Juremovic chance at the in the very last seconds. He put it wide. Whew, was a bit of luck, and also that was got to be honest, that was a penalty on that fall from Nathaniel Phillips on Gibbs White. So with a bit of luck and a bit of Mark Travers, we took this point, and it's always better to not to lose. It's always better to draw than to lose. Yeah, and now we have we had a full week to prepare the Easter games tomorrow on Good Friday against Middlesbrough at home. And I remember we played Middlesbrough at home also last year on Good Friday as well, and then Good Monday Coventry away, and then the very last 5 games in the space of 2 weeks, including Blackburn away and Fulham at home and Nottingham Forest at home. Yeah, so let's push for that promotion. Up the Cherries. Come on, you Reds.
Amazing to have him on, Filippo. Miss Filippo. And look, he expressed his disappointment with what happened at the Hawthorns. I think we were actually chatting to Barry Cowdrill, who works at the Pear, and he's an ex-Baggies player.
First time I didn't want to see him, to be honest.
played in the late 80s, and he was there at the Hawthorns, and he said that Bournemouth treated it almost like a training session for the first 15 minutes, and we were punished, and Andy Carroll was one of their 2 men of the match, and like Filippo said, it was a really disappointing way to go into 2 big away games. Yeah,
it was the start of the game was frustrating, led into, I think it was the manner of the goals as well. They were really bad goals to concede. As you mentioned, Andy Carroll, he toyed with us a little bit. I think it was Nat Phillips, I think, is going to be a good defender, and I think he has got really good attributes, but I think it showed an experienced striker against quite an inexperienced defender. I know he's played for Liverpool, he's played in the Champions League, but he's still a young centre-half. I felt his eagerness to get the ball was almost counterproductive, because he was trying to win every header. You know what he's like, he tries to throw himself into things, and Andy Carroll was just clever and just stepped off, and he was misjudging headers, and Carroll was just chesting them down. He was also intelligent as he was backing onto Smithy a bit more, who's obviously not the tallest and could beat him in the air. So yeah, Andy Carroll causes problems, and I think once you're 2-0 down at a place like West Brom, they could just let you have the ball then. And as we saw, we had loads of chances, but they were all none of them looked like they were going in, didn't have a single one on target, and it was a frustrating night, mate. It was I remember seeing you after the game and thought it's the most dejected we've felt in a while, because it was just so dull to watch, and we just gave them the incentive to go and win that game, and really frustrated. I think there were positives when we moved into the Sheffield game, although we didn't score or win the game. There were definitely a little bit of a change, which I was happy with, but still a few things to be concerned about, I think.
And we had one man to thank for keeping the scores level on Saturday at Bramall Lane, and my goodness, you know what, we've always said that Dom Solanke would probably edge it if there was going to be a player of the season award for player of the season, of course. Maybe internally they do their players player kind of thing as well, but he's getting closer, isn't he? Wow, what a performance, 2 unbelievable saves.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost a 50-50 split for me. I think the difference would be maybe if Dom hits 30, might get in there, but yeah, neither of them don't deserve to win it. It's mad. But yeah, he was unbelievable. I'd probably say him and the referee, because it's the most stonewall penalty I've ever seen. I can't believe that wasn't given. But we could also counteract that with, the form Travers is only probably saving it anyway, mate. But yeah, he was unbelievable. I thought both saves were fantastic. I think the first one, where he tips over the bar, looks the best. But I actually thought the second one, that second half where Gibbs White is bearing down on goal, so many keepers go down there, make their move early. He just stood tall and didn't give Gibbs White any he was waiting for Travers to make the move, and he just didn't. And yeah, the confidence he's showing is unbelievable at the moment, and you back him every day. But yeah, he's making massive saves, and that was the only frustration. I didn't think Sheffield were any better than us in the general play, but they were the ones that had the key moments. Yeah. And it's been a week of football where I don't really feel like we've had a really good chance to score.
Our chances were few and far between. So, in the week at AFC Bournemouth, whilst it wasn't particularly good for the men, it was fantastic for the women. And Becky Bath's clinical first half hat-trick at the Vitality Stadium paved the way for the Cherries to keep alive their National League promotion hopes on a historic day at the Vitality Stadium. She took centre stage in a match which was watched in front of 1,600 people, one of which was Tiggs, and you can see the footage there. And to be fair, looked a cracking turnout. We registered a 4-1 win over Cheshire United, with the impressive Katie James putting the gloss on a fine team performance by completing the scoring in the 61st minute. Tig said that there was no passing backwards. The girls were constantly keeping on the front foot in possession, and there were a number of subs, which meant that we got to see more of the team. And also, Tig said, Tom, that there was a high level of sportspersonship.
Okay.
Is that how you got to say it?
I think so. That's probably fair.
No diving, no rolling around, and even one of the Cheshire players was injured, and an AFC Bournemouth player helped them up to their feet. So that was good to see. But historic day for the women, and I've seen the highlights as well, some cracking goals as well. Yeah,
I watched the highlights, mate. Yeah, they've obviously got some good players there. It'll be interesting to see how they progress, because obviously the women's team, particularly, obviously in general, but particularly at Bournemouth, looking at it from a Bournemouth perspective, is going in the right direction, isn't it? They've got some good players there, and Becky Bath seems to be the one taking the headlines. First half hat-trick, Jamie ate her and shit. Yeah, she's definitely one that's catching the headlines at the moment. But really pleased as well, I think, with the fact that it was a historical day and they played at the stadium, there was fans there, a convincing win. That's what you want in it. I remember going, with this season there's been a few, like, say, under-23s games at the Bournemouth ground where they're suddenly getting more supporters than they normally get, and they always perform really well, and you think, that's what you want, and that's what that's showing, is the pressure's not getting to them. They really want to perform and show what they're all about in front of supporters. So that was great, mate. And hopefully it continues, mate. Nice positive. And all around the club, I think the youngsters, the women, if everyone's going in the right direction, that's what you want from the football club. Yeah, they redressed the tunnel as well as part of it as well. So it was a proper match day experience for the women's team. And also outside the ground, it was a really good atmosphere. It was like a sort of like a championship match day. That's what Tiggs referred to as well. So they really made a day of it as well. And Tix was sat next to an Arsenal women's fan, and that person said that he hoped the atmosphere was this good at the Women's FA Cup final. So, yeah, really, really good. Loads of young kids watching as well. And that was quite refreshing to see, so they get a first bite of the football bug. And as you say, Becky Bath certainly knows where the goal is. And also, it was a day on which the club, they announced that they're helping to continue the drive for equality and inclusivity in football by partnering with the Her Game 2 movement. There's a video that you can see in the background, and it's been going viral on social media, and the collaboration was announced ahead of the women's game. As part of the partnership, the club and the Community Sports Trust will work alongside Her Game 2 to develop the club's existing work to help stamp out sexist abuse and create a welcoming atmosphere for women at both home and away matches. It was founded by 12 passionate female football fans, and Her Game 2 is committed to helping foster an ethos in the game which women are welcomed in and are respected equally. So yeah, fair play for the club for getting on board with that. There's been a number of calls on social media for that to happen. So yeah, absolutely top work there. Right, also been announced, the Blackburn tickets are on sale. £10, mate. Absolute dream, mate. Give me, just hand over the cash. We'll have that.
Is that what a Blackburn did, what Huddersfield did in terms of trying to get as many people into the stadium, creating a raucous atmosphere for their playoff push?
I hope so, because that went well, didn't it? Fair play to Blackburn as well. I don't know what the general kind of ruling is, but I don't know. I wouldn't have thought they'd have to make that the same for the away. Oh, look at that!
Wasp just in my beer. This ain't good.
Can we find some sort of thing that means that's good luck or something?
When did that happen?
I don't know. What you
I'm good. I'm just showing people at home. Well, there you go. Look, there we go. Flying around. Right, how do I get that out? We'll sort it. We
have to. Anything, whatever you're listening to now, the podcast's got a pot because we're just concentrating on this. Sounds point has been compromised. As I was saying, I think that I don't know what the ruling is, but I wouldn't have thought Blackburn would have to make that the same for the away fans. I don't know.
I know. I think they do.
They do. Yeah. Okay. Well, then I was going to say thank you to Blackburn, but we have to do it. That's great, mate. And like you say, I don't know where they'll be at that point, but maybe they're looking at that. Like the last home game for them, so they'll be looking at it as to get the playoffs. I would have thought so. It's a massive game for them as much as it might be for us. But hopefully, party time, mate. I'm just thinking about what fancy dress I could go in. Maybe a trophy of some sort.
Love it. Elsewhere in the week, the development squad played Fulham in a friendly where the Cottagers won 2-1, sadly, at Canford. Gav Kilkenny was in action. I think James Hill was, Emi Marcondes as well. I think we went 2-0 down, but then pulled one back in the second half. And Dan Rose in the Daily Echo wrote an article where Mark Travers is describing Gav Kilkenny as an unbelievable talent, saying, I'm sure he will get his chance. It's actually scary and weird to think that Gav Kilkenny's last match in the league for Bournemouth was Middlesbrough away.
Last year, and he was
the reverse fixture.
Apart from Travers, he was best player on the pitch as well.
Yeah,
he was brilliant. I think at the moment it's hard to, because I think his best role is where Lewis is playing at the moment. God, look at you go. That's impressive. Oh, absolutely. You're like having all these shots on target, but there it is in the bag. Yeah, I think the problem is his position is Lewis Cook's position.
Yeah.
And as much as I think Gavin Kilkenny's never let us down, Lewis Cook's been very good lately. But said it, we were unbeaten until November, and Kilkenny played in most of them.
Yeah.
Gavin Kilkenny has been brilliant for us this season. If we end up going up, then he's played a massive part, and he's definitely one for the future. It must be frustrating for him, but we have got good players in them positions, so it's difficult as well. But yeah, I love Kilkenny. I think he's got a great future, and hopefully it's with us, mate.
Absolutely. So, let's go on to Parker's Presser. So, Scott Parker had his press conference on Thursday afternoon at Dean Court today, if you're watching on Thursday evening. And of course, the news is at the bottom of the screen now, so there you go, there is all the latest. And one of the stories, of course, that we know about is that Jordan Zamora, of course, it seems that a hamstring injury is going to maybe scupper the whole of his season. It happened in the latter stages of the match against Sheffield United, and yeah, sadly not going to be available. So there's a left-back dilemma, which me and Tom are going to shortly talk about. Again, it looked like Dom Solanke was limping at one stage. However, hopefully he'll be okay. Dom hasn't seemed right for a while, mate. Or am I overthinking things?
Maybe a little bit because of how good he is, but I agree. I think in this week anyway, the two away fixtures where obviously we didn't score, he didn't look right. Probably looks like, I don't know whether he's carrying something or he's just, it just looks like a bit of wear and tear there. He and like you say, he was limping a little bit. Hopefully he's all right. If not, Becky Bath, mate. I don't know what else we're going to do with Kiefer Moore out. But yeah, he's hopefully it looks like he's going to be all right. But yeah, I mean, he's played so much football and he's going to get a few knocks, and he's so pivotal, he's going to get kicked now and again. So hopefully it's nothing too serious. Obviously the main concern at the moment is the left back position where we know we've got a player out, and I hope we'll go on to it, but I hope Zamora is not too bad, but I can't see, if it's a hamstring, I can't see how he's going to play this season. And I just feel for him, it's been his first season, he's been so pivotal. I would argue, we mentioned earlier about it's Travers and Solanke fight off the player of the season. He could probably nick that third spot, to be honest. He's been so good. So yeah, gutted for him more, personally, to be honest. Just really, really gutted, because he would have loved to have been part of it, I'm sure.
So let's talk about this left-back dilemma then, because there are a few options. And no Jordan Zamora, so you've got the option of switching Adam Smith to left back, which is doable. He does a job there, but not naturally inclined to get forward as much, it seems, when compared to when he plays on the right hand side. So whether he'll go for that, we're not too sure. Certainly decent defensively and can do a job. Not his best position, but we know he can perform there. You've got Leif Davis, who's played there infrequently for Bournemouth this season, and any time he has done there, I think he's done a relatively good job, and we know he can cross the ball relatively well as well and get forward too. Then maybe someone like Robbie Brady, coming back, who I say coming back into place. I think he played Blackburn at home in that position, and I thought he had a pretty poor game. Came on for the closing minutes of that match at Bramall Lane and barely touched the ball. But a few options there. There's an option of putting Lloyd Kelly left back, but whether he'd want to break up that defensive partnership, not sure he would. So I don't think that's going to happen. If you're Scott Parker, based on the opposition who we're playing, they've got a decent player on that side as well that we'll go on to talk about. What would you be doing?
It's a very difficult one. I think you can make a case for all the options you just said. I think as much as some fans, maybe myself, could see the fact of putting Lloyd Kelly at left back, it ain't happening. Trust me, there's no way he's moving. He's never played Lloyd Kelly at left back. Scott Parker, it's never going to happen. I appreciate the Smith one. I think the Smith one, we probably talk about it more because of the right back options we've got. So we think, well, we've got options there, so just move Smith across. But I think you lose too much balance there. So I think it's a fight out between Brady and Davis personally. And I think what you got to look at is I think Davis is more attacking, just because of his energy and his legs and his youth. He'll get forward more. But every time, and like you say, every time I watched him, I don't think he's let us down, but I do think he gets caught defensively. Robbie Brady gives you more experience, maybe a little bit more reliability, probably better set pieces. It's an option. It just depends on his fitness levels. Probably him and Leif Davis. It's probably who's the fitter at the moment. But yeah, as you say, that right side of Boro in particular with Jones, I think, do you match him up pace-wise maybe with a Leif Davis, but you know he could potentially get caught because of his positioning, or do you go Robbie Brady, bit more experience, he'll know how to handle him? It's going to be an interesting one, mate. When we do the predict the level, I'm pretty confident I know what Scott Parker's going to do. What I would do, I think, is it's easy to say. I'd done a little poll in the week, and I think it was like nearly 70% of fans wanted Leif Davis, which I get. But I think it's kind of irrelevant what we would do, because I think it depends how they're getting on in training. It depends how fit they all are. Leif Davis has had his injuries. The last time he started, he come off injured. Robbie Brady's had his injuries. So it depends on all that we don't know behind closed doors who's sharper at the moment. But it'd be intriguing to see, mate. But you know, we have got options there, fortunately.
We all know that Jay Dante performs better when Jordan Zamura's playing on that left side, so I wonder whether the decision that's going to be made may affect his decision further up the pitch as well. We'll find out in the chosen 11 there. Now, earlier Tom was alluding to the fact that it could be Travers, could be Solanke. Solanke has been nominated, one of 3 nominees for the Sky Bet Championship Player of the Season, 2 of which play for Fulham as well. Harry Wilson, your favourite, getting the bin in our tier list, I think, and also Mitrovic, and I can't see past Mitrovic for winning this thing.
Mitrovic winning it, Solanke's coming second, and Wilson's no point of him being there. But I'd probably get that free, to be honest. But yeah, Mitrovic has been astounding, only breaking records. But I feel for Dom, because if it wasn't for Mitrovic just doing the unthinkable really with the amount of goals he's scored, then Dom would be a lot closer. But yeah, he deserves that recognition. He's been unbelievable, and obviously they're looking at him thinking he's helped fire Bournemouth into the Premier League, hopefully, mate. Third one I think is always up for grabs. You normally do them top 2 scorers, and then you think, who's another one? I think they've probably looked at Fulham because of how clear they are, which I understand, and Harry Wilson's been pivotal to them, despite what he did for us. I was trying to think of other players. I think Jed Spence has done well at Forest.
Yeah, very good.
He was probably a thing.
Really
but I think a lot of his really good performances were in the Cup as well. So, you've got to play that into consideration. But some good players in this league. So, Dom's done really well to get in there and deserves that recognition, unfortunately for him. I mean, if Mitrovic don't get it, it'll be absolute uproar. I would love it. Imagine if Dom won that. Oh, I'd love it, mate.
Superb. Now, we were talking earlier about the left-back dilemma. I know. Why don't we take a foray into the non-league and sign some guy? Well, we haven't yet, but Cherries are set to secure the signing of non-league defender Chris Francis from
Frado
from Southern League Division 1 Central side Northley FC. The left-back, who also can play centrally, is said to have reached an agreement with the Cherries to sign a 12-month deal with the option of a further year. The report claims that Francis is already training with Cherries' first team, having caught the eyes of the club scouts whilst playing in the non-league. He's 19 years old. He joined Northley in August, and we could have a Frano on the pitch and also behind the scenes, mate.
Yeah, we could do, mate. Obviously, we know a lot about him, watch Northley a lot.
Huge club.
Yeah, good club, and I don't know how we've managed to get him over here from there, to be honest. Now, all seriousness, I think it's interesting that we're talking about the left-back situation, then we sign one, we think, but I think it's just coincidence. Obviously one for the future. I mentioned to you off air that I like them sort of signings. I like the James Hill signing because it means Scott and the club are buying into something long-term and thinking of players that can come through and still looking at that development side of it. I mean, if we were to go up the season, we've got to look at that. Okay, we look at Mark Travers, look at Jordan Zamora, look at Jane Anthony. It's important to not forget that. And if he's caught the eye in non-league, mate, it can only be a good thing. So that'll be interesting to see how monitor that and see how he gets on. Maybe play some development minutes and stuff like that. So yeah, exciting, mate. Always good to sign some new young players and see how they come through.
Yeah. If you want to watch the whole of Parker's presser, you can do that right now on afcb.co.uk. Just go to AFCB TV and then you'll see it there to see everything he said. But of course, you've already read that at the bottom of the screen, haven't you? So, on to Boro then. And after 2 away games for the Cherries last week, the most recent, a tough 0-0 encounter, we will be up against Chris Wilder, who brings his Middlesbrough side down from the northeast. Cherries are going into this game unbeaten in their last 6 games at home and will be looking to keep that record intact. Let's check out our opposition. So, Boro then. This segment is all about the opposition. And if you're a Boro fan and you want to find out information about the pubs and places to go, we've got an away day fan guide that we'll link to later on. But why not subscribe? Because our fans are going to be talking about your club in the vlog and also the free-for-all. So hit that red button. We would truly appreciate it. So when we lost at their place last December, Chris Wilder's side were 9th in the championship table. Wilder, since then, he's kept his side within a sight of the playoff position. They're currently on 62 points in 8th place. So here's the league table, Tom. And look, I know that we're focusing on Middlesbrough in 8th place, but, you know, look a bit further down and you've got Coventry, who are... They're still in with a shout for the playoffs, and
they're above QPR.
They're above QPR. They're above West Brom, who were doing great guns at the start of the season. And these 2 matches are really not going to be easy. And given Coventry's last result on the road as well, they're going to be full of confidence. And no match is easy, mate. This is a treacherous run-in, whoever we play. We just got to be right on it, haven't we?
Yeah, it is. And Boro will look at the fact that they've only played 40 games as well, where a few around them have played 41. So that could be pivotal for them. It'll be interesting. Do they look at this fixture and go, Bournemouth away, get a point, that's a point closer? Or do they think we need to start winning games? Because it is tight up there with that game in hand. It'll be intriguing to see how Chris Wilder sets them up. But they were, till the last week, my kind of tip to do the playoffs, actually, and to win the playoffs and go up, because I think Chris Wilder's a really good manager. Typical playing over the Pear, mate. I think when we went there, which we'll come on to, in the 1-0 defeat, Travers was the man of the match. I think I mentioned it earlier. They had a goal disallowed as well as winning 1-0, and I thought they were one of the best teams we played. I thought they were so good. I thought they were really impressive. We saw their cup run. Who did they beat? United. Not Tottenham out as well. They were unbelievable. And yeah, I think they're a good side with a good manager. Their last week, like ours, has not been as good. So I wonder if the wheels are falling off a little bit. But they've got good players, mate. They're an experienced side, and Middlesbrough are a big football club. So yeah, they're ones to watch. But like I said, I don't know if it's too bad a time to play them with the week they've had. So, Tom, I'm going to ask you to grab your phone and go on to one of your latest tweets, because if you want to follow Tom Jordan, it's at TomJordan21. And he recently tweeted, if I said we'd remain 6 clear of Forest after the Easter double-header, would you take it? Or are we confident that we can increase the gap? I'd love to know what the voting is. So, the 2 options you had were... Yep. So, yes, we'll take the 6-point gap, or no, we can increase the gap.
All right, go on.
There's been over 200 votes at this point, and it's 69% for yes, they would take it. Yeah. I think that... would I take it? I think I probably would, because I think, even though I definitely think we're capable of winning both games, and Forest have got some tough games, they're away at Luton.
That's a midday one, isn't it? Lunchtime.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to watch. But so, yeah, I think there's definitely that potential. That's why I put the tweet out, to extend it. But I think at this stage of the season, you just don't want to lose any ground. So I think 6 points going into the last, that is a good gap. Yeah. So I appreciate it. I probably expected it to be that sort of voting as it is at the moment. But they've got tough fixtures as well for us. So, yeah, it's all to play for, mate. But I think as long as we do our job, I'll be. If we win both games and they win both games, I'll be happy, mate, because that means we're on a good run. If we lose both games and they lose both games, then I'll be going, we should have increased the gap. So, it's all in context. But, yeah, we certainly don't want to go any less than 6. I like the little 6, but that buffer's nice, the little buffer of the 6-pointer. But,
of course, our focus has got to be on Middlesbrough. Their last away game was a 4-0 win over Peterborough, but that was at the start of the month. But since then, they've lost some matches at home, which to be fair, they should have won, one of which was Hull City, where Hull beat them 1-0. But, Tom, I'm going to do something dreadful, and we're going to relive that day over the festive period where we can't show the Newcastle bit, because that's all going out and getting drunk in Pop World. But on the following day, we went to the Riverside. Great day. Welcome to Middlesbrough.
Beautiful.
We finally arrived, Tom. How are you feeling about this beautiful place?
Oh, what a place! Yeah, I'm confident though. I like the team, mate. So yeah, look forward to it.
Okay, it's for fiction. Shit! Bloody hell! What a chance! That was a golden opportunity for them. We got away with one there. My God. Good. Middlesbrough penalty. Fucking poor, wasn't it? Give away a penalty like that.
Manley not had his best game for me. He's been a bit more today, and he lost. Well, he got robbed of the ball on the halfway line. I think it's Isaiah Jones got away from him. He's trying to get back at him, and he just comes inside, like gets a run on him. Just comes inside, gets him the wrong side of Jay Natalie, touches him, brings him down for a pen.
He showed a bit of aggression to win it back on that left-hand side. Tom,
Very naive.
deserved it so far, Boro.
Yeah, mate. Travers makes some big saves, doesn't he? So it's not good, man. Not good.
Shoes off, if you love Bournemouth. 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 Shoes off. Let's pretend we scored again. Come on, Foley, come on. I mean, I think that's the day that Duncan Spokes kicked a seat.
Lost his edge. Yeah.
He lost his, because we had a few chances early doors,
Yeah.
but then Travers was one of our star players. As you said, Kilkenny also performed really well there, but other than that, we didn't emerge with much credit at all. I think
Penalty, wasn't it?
Sporar scored the penalty. Jaden Anthony was tracking back and
a bad game.
a bit too eager, brought the man down.
Yeah.
Penalty was converted in the second half, and it was a long old trip. But thank God for Pop World. Otherwise, that would have been completely wasted. But not a good day.
No, not a good day. I thought it was they looked a good outfit, and it was really frustrating because I think I think they were all in the first half. We had some real chances to take the lead, and I think it would have obviously completely changed the outcome of the game in my opinion. But because we didn't get that first goal, we give away a silly penalty, and they get it. Then I felt like they were well in control and probably could have doubled the lead. So it was a tough game. I remember it was Zamura's first game back, and he struggled with Isaiah Jones, and then Kilkenny played well, but he was in there, which means we obviously had some players out. So yeah, it was a really difficult one, and I just remember coming out of it thinking, this Boro side are a well organised, disciplined side. They'll be there or thereabouts with Chris Wilder now. So yeah, it was a disappointing one because that's the type of place you go, a bit like Sheffield, let's try and at least get out of a point, and we couldn't quite do it on the day.
Do you remember the last time we played Middlesbrough at Dean Court?
Oh, well, it would have been last season, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, why can't I'm normally quite good at this.
Yeah, you are usually quite good. I mean, I've got it on my screen.
I know, but I'm not looking.
You're not looking.
I'm not looking. Would we have beaten Boro at home last night? I really can't remember.
Yeah.
No, go on.
We did.
Oh,
we
good.
won 3-1. Philip Billing opened the scoring early doors, only for Duncan Watmore to equalise. But then Jeff Lerma put the Cherries back in front. I mean, I'm surprised you don't remember that, mate. The GOAT.
Now I remember, after the Watmore goal.
Yeah, and then Dom Solanke secured all 3 points late on into the game. And that was the start of a 6-game winning run for Jonathan Woodgate.
Okay.
So that was on a Woody.
I think that's where I forget it sometimes. I try to remember, was that Woodgate or was that Tyndall?
Yeah.
That's what confused me a little bit.
I wouldn't have remembered that if I hadn't got it in front of me. No way at all. So in our home games against Middlesbrough, Bournemouth have won 4, drawn 4. In all competitions, Cherries have won 5, drawn 8 and lost 8. So those stats not particularly good. So Middlesbrough team news. Chris Wilder had a conference on Thursday morning. Central defender Del Fry went off with a calf injury in the last games, not going to be available. Isaiah Jones also missed their last game through illness, but he looks like he's going to be available. Chris Wilder confirmed it. Other than that, I think Martin Pear, another player that's been out with injury and won't be available to do. And look, Isaiah Jones, one of their star players, isn't he?
I was really impressed with him when we went to their place. Like I say, really, I haven't seen Tamura since really early in the season get kind of rattled like that with the play. He was playing kind of wing back, and he was. You looked at him, he had so much pace, and he was direct, and yeah, I was really impressed with him. He's a player that if we were to go up and they weren't, I'd love us to have a look at him. He's only 22.
Yeah.
So yeah, real talent. Really do rate him. I'm not sure. I feel like he's maybe cut up the ranks there because I don't know if he's been anywhere else. But he looks like a really good player. I didn't know that until you said about Del Fry, and he's in my opinion, one of the best centre halves in the league. Young English centre half. That's key in being out because I think he's played for the young England team. I think he still gets in the. I'm pretty sure he's played like alongside Kelly for the young England team.
Wow. He's
a good young centre half. Has been linked with some big clubs, so that could be quite crucial in being out. But yeah, as you say, Isaiah Jones and Matt Crook scores a lot from midfield, doesn't he?
He does.
So he'll be a handful. And I know he's
scored 8 goals.
Has he got 8?
Yeah.
And I know that recently they've bought in. It must have been January. They bought in Balogun on loan from Arsenal, who's still raw. But if Arsenal have got him as a kid and they're only willing to let him out on loan.
Weren't we interested in him?
Were.
Or allegedly.
Allegedly were before we got Kiefer Moore. So he was maybe one we were looking at. But yeah, but he's. I don't know if he's. I don't think he's set the world alight there, but he's certainly he's got to be a talent if he's come from Arsenal on loan. So yeah, they've definitely got some players to watch out for, mate. Paddy McNair as well. He's been at Man United.
Oh yeah,
decent centre half, could play midfield. He's good in the air. So yeah, they've got a nice balance, I think, of experience and youthful kind of vibrance as well. So
he scored 5 goals as well, McNair. 3 assists. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a bit of a handful. So yeah, and they've got experience. I think they've got Housen in there as well. They've got some real experience. So it'll be a tricky one.
The man in charge is Tim Robinson.
I'm fed up with that now, after Stroud.
He's been in charge for 3 of our games this season. Luton at home, ding. Fulham away, ding. And in our most recent game in February, Stoke City at home, where he gave a straight red to a Stoke player.
Never red.
No, it wasn't.
Robinson
in.
in.
So 3 dings. Tim Robinson in.
Here's to you, Timmy Robinson.
Pub to predictions.
Go on.
If you're a Middlesbrough fan and you're travelling down to Dean Court, we like to call it Dean Court, it's a Vitality Stadium. Firstly, have a safe trip down. It's a long old journey. If you're staying over, make sure you enjoy the weekend in Bournemouth. We're sure you'll have a good time. At the top of the screen is a card that you can click, and it's an away fans guide, so you can find out all about the pubs you can go to before the game, what to do in Bournemouth, loads of things to do, and hopefully the sun will have its hat on and you can enjoy a really nice weekend in Dorset. Just a word of note, the Cricketers pub, it's had its refurbishment. It is now reopened in Wyndham Road, and that pub is good for away fans. If you're coming on the coach, you'll probably be directed into Boscombe, where there's a couple of bars, including Mellow and also Marroy's Bar on the main Christchurch Road, which are all right. Away fans are also welcome in the Bell as well in Folkestone. Also in Southbourne, there are a number of pubs there, plus the Firkin Shed, if you like a microbrewery on Coldnurse Road. That's really close to the ground too. So check out our away fans guide because all the information's in there. Right, if you're watching, you're a Boro fan, you're a Bournemouth fan, get your predictions in the comments below. We'll read every single one, and we're really interested to see what you got to say.
Quite split, I think.
It is going to be quite split. Tom, I'm going to come to you for your prediction. How are you feeling about this bad boy?
Weirdly confident.
Really?
Yeah, I think the week they've had, as I said, we didn't have a good week, didn't score a goal, only picked up a point. They had 2 home games, didn't score a goal, picked up 0 points. I think we're going to win 3-1.
Do you think the feeling around Dean Court will be different at 2:30 if the result at lunchtime between Luton and Forest goes, with us against us? Do you think it will affect the whole atmosphere?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, listen, we've got to do our job, mate, whatever happens.
Well, exactly.
If we do our job, it's irrelevant. But I appreciate what you're saying. I think I'm not sure if it's a good thing that they're playing early, because if they win, just puts more pressure on us. If they lose, oh come on, you've got to take advantage. I think there's pressure either way.
But then when teams lose, we also lose. It seems.
all right. But yeah, no, I think it'll be a tricky one. But I'm confident, mate. Like I say, with the week they've had, I think we'll come out of the traps hopefully and take the game to them. And I think if we can get an early goal, I think we'll be all right. So yeah, I'm going to go 3-1, mate. What do you reckon?
I share the feeling with a winner, and
Last time I was this confident was West Brom away though.
Yeah.
So,
I've got a feeling it'll be 2-0. I think Dom's going to score both of them. There you go. There's my prediction. We want to see yours. Get them in the comments below. So we've predicted the score. Let's predict the team. Okay then, so here we go then. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful pitch. And Tom's going to talk me through. I mean, I can put in, you know what, I'll go for Travers in goal. Look, there's my contribution.
You always do this.
The footballing brain that is Tom Jordan. I always like to put pressure on you a little bit because, but you thrive under pressure.
Oh, always.
All these kind of weeks in a row where you've been correct. So I think we know our... Well, depending on...
If he moves Smith.
Yeah, depending on the left back, the right back could be different. But how are you feeling? Who's he going to pick?
I think he'll continue with Smith at right back.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he'll try and mix it up that much. I think he trusts Smith there. I think you lose a lot of combination if you start moving around too much.
True.
And I think you've just got... If you've bought a few players that are playing at left back, on loan, signed them on a free, whatever... Why have you signed them if when your left back's out you're not going to use them? Yep. I think this is the first game without Zamora. This could all change when we go into the Coventry game. Quick turnaround, and if they don't perform well, then you might see a Smith in there. I think that remains to be seen. But at the moment, I believe Smith will start at right back, and I think it'll be. I flirted around Cahill coming in, didn't I? But when he wasn't even on the bench, it ain't going to happen. So yeah, it'll be Nat Phillips and Lloyd Kelly at centre half as well.
Midfield 3.
No, I haven't done my left back yet.
Okay. Well, I just assumed Leif Davis, but is it?
Robbie Brady. I think he's going to go Robbie Brady.
Oh.
I'm not saying that's me. I think he'll go Robbie Brady.
Okay.
I think that it's a difficult one. We've spoke a lot recently. I said about Cahill maybe coming in because of the experience. So I think I would get that Robbie Brady's experience. I think you'd have a real Leif Davis. I think Leif Davis gives us more going forward. We would probably prefer to see him.
But Robbie Brady's always played in attacking positions.
Yes.
So why wouldn't he offer that?
He's lost his legs. I think that's the problem. He's never been like lightning anyway.
Is he like Matt Ritchie?
Yeah, maybe. Kind of played off the right wing and now he's moved to left back. I think he'll just look at that experience and I think he will... And also set pieces as well. He'll be good at that. But I think he'll just, as we mentioned earlier, Isaiah Jones, I think he'll look for an experienced head in there. Leif Davis, as much as he didn't let us down, he got caught a few times against good wingers. He hasn't been in the squad lately. I think... Yeah. I'm still not sure what I would do. I'd back whatever he did, to be honest. But I think he's going to give Robbie... It's going to be Robbie Brady's spot to lose, in my opinion. So I'm going to go Robbie Brady at left back.
And, I suppose he can probably take that risk knowing that Lloyd Kelly is alongside him to mop up any issues with his blistering pace. So.
Yep. And if the game... the way the game transpires, if it changes, you've got Leif Davis as an option to come on for a bit of pace down that left side if needed. But I think it's, if Robbie Brady doesn't start this game, what do we get him? I just feel like this is his chance. Give him the left back spot, say to him, it's yours to lose now. Zamura's probably not going to be back, mate. And if he doesn't perform, then we can readdress on Monday. But I think it's going to be Robbie Brady's spot to lose, mate.
I shot my load too soon, but we're going to go do the midfield 3 now. So... Is there a danger of overplaying these guys? Because there's another match on Monday. Could this be the one where there's a change, or do you think there won't be?
I don't think there will be. I think this is where your manager earns their money, to be honest with you, because there's a danger of, as you say, you saw that with Zamora, of overplaying these sort of players and picking up hamstring injuries and etc. etc. There's also a danger of over-rotating, which I think Jason probably did as well. It's a very much you can't win. I always say this, the West Brom game, when we lost, everyone's going, why didn't he rotate? Yeah. But in Parker's defence, if we rotate and lose, he goes, why didn't he keep an unchanged side? very difficult, and this is why the manager's the manager. This is why we're just predicting it, but he's the one that gets paid to predict it and put it out there. So yeah, it is a danger, but it's critical time of the season, mate. I think he'll want to get the points on the board, and if we, who knows, in Dreamland are promoted with a few games to go, then we can look at that. But I don't see, personally, would I rotate Bill in? Maybe. Don't think he's been great. Parker doesn't seem to. Lewis Cook and Lerma are definitely going to play in there, and I think Phil Billing will keep a spot as well.
Okay, wide players.
Yep.
I think you'll stick with Christie on the right.
I'm going to stick with Christie on the right. I think he's quite reliable. I think he's done okay in the last game. He's not been great. He's the only one that had shots on target for us. I mean, he needs to get his shooting boots on, but he's a good player. I think if he's fit, he plays. I do think Christie gives us something else, so he's definitely going to play.
And then based on who you picked at left back, does that interfere with who you would have picked anyway? I mean, would you pick, say for instance, if it was going to be Leif Davis, say you were picking Adam Smith, would your player be different based on that left back position? I
don't think it would, actually. I can see what you're saying. I don't think it would. I think this is my other change. So my only two changes, Dom's up front, by the way, if you want to whack that in. My only changes are down that left side, because he does. I don't even know if he has played Dembele 2 games back to back, to be honest. He might have, but it's rare if he has. I think Jane Anthony comes back in for this one.
Okay. And he offers that defensive.
Yes, I think a new left back coming in. We need that in front of him. And because I think it's Brady as well. I think, with the lack of legs there, I think he needs Jane in front of him. So yeah, I think Jane Anthony comes in for Dembele and Brady comes in for Zamora. They're my two changes, mate. So that's the team news if you wanted it.
That's the team news. Don't worry about checking Twitter at 2 o'clock.
I'll make a little counterpoint. I don't think it'll happen, but I don't know if you agree, mate, and let me know in the comments. I'd love to see Marcondes back on the bench. Yeah. Why is he not on the bench? I appreciate why he's not starting. I know we've got Cantwell, but when Marcondes comes on the pitch, he does change games. He's proven that.
When was that development game? Was that on Tuesday or was it on Wednesday?
Yeah, Tuesday or Wednesday. He got an assist, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
So whether that's he's played, like you say, because he's not going to be involved, I don't know. But just a personal preference, I just think he can do something for you. We saw it at Blackpool. We've seen it in a few games.
He moves the ball really quickly.
Quickly. He's quite intelligent at picking up holes when teams are tiring a little bit. He's quite a clever player. So yeah, just a little caliper there. So I would like to just see him back on the bench. I don't know who for. Maybe we've got a massive squad with great options despite a few injuries. So it's hard for him. But I'd just like to see him on there in my opinion.
So, there we go. That's TJ's team. It should be its own little graphic, that, TJ's team, shouldn't it?
Yeah, well.
Maybe we'll sort that for the next one.
Hurry up then.
Right. If you're going to the game, have a good one. A few points of note.
Oh.
It's Good Friday. Technically, it's a weekday, but be careful where you park, okay? Because
so thoughtful,
yeah, I am, because traffic wardens will still be out there. A single lane parking restrictions Monday to Friday, usually until 5 p.m. Therefore, where you might usually be able to park, you won't be able to, despite the fact it's a bank holiday or whatever. Technically, I believe that you can still get tickets, and historically, traffic wardens usually have a blitz on Good Friday or Easter Monday if there is a Cherries game. So just be wary of where you park and make sure. Look, it's £1 to park in the club car park. I know that gets really busy, but there's also Sovereign Centre in Boscombe. Road parking, just be wary of not parking in front of people's driveways and stuff. There's the school in Avonbourne, whatever it's called now. Yeah. It's called something else, I think. So yeah, just be wary of not parking, because you don't want to get a ticket. Just imagine if Forest win, we lose, and you get a ticket. That's the weekend from hell, isn't it?
Yeah, bad. That's up there with Jackson dislocated.
Yeah, exactly. And
the traffic wardens not have bloody bank holiday off.
No. And final thing, let's make the atmosphere absolutely huge at Dean Court. Let's make it a cauldron. This is absolutely huge, and we know how much the team thrive off us. And I know that sometimes we sort of wait for the team to do something before we respond, and then the synergy begins. Let's be the ones to start it off. Absolutely. So from the moment you hear Nonny's voice before the game, let's keep it going throughout the game, because honestly, it's a massive game for us, and it could be a pivotal weekend in the promotion race. So let's do it, shall we?
And also, go back to that Boro game, I'm pretty sure I voted them the best for home fan decibel level on the away day shows that we do.
So just imagine what they're like away.
So that they were very good. I looked at them and thought, why can't we be a bit more like that at home? They were brilliant. So let's try and do that as well, as you say, mate. And let's get behind the boys now, mate. It's it's the big part of the season now. I always remember when we went up before that Easter weekend, the Kenwyn Jones era. Easter weekend is always critical. Them 2 games, quick succession, they're always critical. Little tip for you: Bournemouth, Luton double. Get on it. It's coming. Come on.
Come on, lads. Right, we're not going to be here at the Pear Parley till next Tuesday now for our West Brom review. Yeah. We'll do the Tuesday and then the Wednesday, so you can have your Pear Parley fix next week, mate.
No, look forward to
but loads of content on the way. Make sure you're subscribed. But until then, come on, you Reds. We've got this.
Come on.